Hello, our grammar lesson for today is passive voice. Before passive voice, I will tell you what is active voice. In active voice, subject does an action. Look at this example. John drank a cup of tea. John is the subject, drank is verb, a cup of tea is an object. John is the subject and does an action. Drank is verb and it is an action. A cup of tea, it is an object and received an action. But in passive voice, subject receives an action, and through some examples I will explain about it more. Look at this example. A cup of tea was drunk. A cup of tea is an object of the active sentence. Now it is the subject of passive sentence, and it is subject and receive an action. Here was, I conjugate verb to be to was because it is past, and then look at the verb drunk. It is past participle of verb drink. A cup of tea was drunk. I will teach you some steps, 4 steps, okay? If you follow 4 steps, you are able to change your active sentence to passive sentence. First of all, when we use passive sentence, number 1, you don't know the subject or it is unknown. Number 2, the object is the most important part of the sentence. Number 3, you don't want to say who did an action. Number 4, try to avoid responsibility. Number 5, shift the focus of subject to an object. Changing active sentence to passive sentence, there will be 4 steps. Follow me. At the end of this video, you are able to change your active sentence to passive sentence, and there are more examples with details for you. Step number 1, move the object to become new subject. Step number 2, conjugate to be verb. Step number 3, add past participle. Step number 4, ignore active subject or add it with by to the end of passive sentence. More examples. Exercise number 1, they will read out the names of the winners in tomorrow's show. Step 1, move the object to become new subject. Step 2, conjugate the verb to be. As you know that after modal auxiliary verb we need be, conjugate to be, will be, and read. The past participle of verb read, it is read, will be read out. And now I add the rest of the sentence. And finally, I can ignore active subject or add it with by to the end of the sentence. Second one, the shop assistant offered a refund to the customer. Refund means give back. And the first step is move the object to become new subject. The second step, I should conjugate verb to be. Here, conjugate of verb to be will be was. And offered, for the fourth step, offered is regular verb, and here no changing. The past participle of offered is offered. A refund was offered. And the rest part of the sentence? The third example, look, someone has broken the vase. What is the first step? I move the object to become new subject. And then the second step, conjugate verb be because it is present perfect. I change it to been. And the third step, the past participle of the verb break is broken. Look, the vase has been broken. Number 4, the police are investigating the murder. The murder is the object of active sentence and now it is the subject of passive sentence. And conjugate the verb be. Because it is continuous tense, I change it to being. The murder is being. And past participle of verb investigate, it is investigated. The murder is being investigated. I can ignore the subject, but here no, I didn't ignore it. The murder is being investigated by the police officer. Number 5, candidates must write their answers in ink. Answers is the object and now it is the subject. Answers must and a conjugate be to be verb, must be, past participle of verb write is written. Answers must be written. And the rest of the sentence, answers must be written in ink and then I didn't ignore the subject, I wrote it with by. The end of the sentence, by candidates. Answers must be written in ink by candidate. The last one, the judge shouldn't have postponed the hearing. Here, the hearing is the object, now it is the subject of the sentence. And shouldn't have, I conjugate to be verb to been because it is present perfect. Shouldn't have been postponed is regular verb, no changing here. Past participle is postponed. The hearing shouldn't have been postponed. And I didn't ignore the subject, by the judge. The hearing shouldn't have been postponed by the judge. Quick recap. We can use passive voice when you don't know the subject. Shift the focus from subject to object. You will have variety of sentences when you use passive voice. And then there will be 4 steps. The object of the active sentence will be the subject of passive sentence. You should conjugate to be verb and add past participle. And you can ignore active subject or add it with by to the end of the sentence. Keep in mind, when you want to conjugate to be verb, you must be careful about the tense. You must recognize the tense and then change your to be verb with the tense. If it's present, if it's past, if it's continuous, if it's perfect, you must change it like them. You must conjugate to be verb to that tense. Thank you for watching.